Good evening and welcome. My name is Xavier Robert, coming to you live from Uyo, the capital city of Akwa Ibom. This is Spotlight Africa, brought to you by Spectrum Television and Planet Radio. Today on Spotlight Africa, Burundi president condemns coup rumors. Kenya to start building nuclear power plant in 2027. Libya mayor arrested over floods that killed thousands. Zambian information minister sacked in mini reshuffle. Plus, Burkina Faso junta suspends French news magazine. These stories are all just ahead on Spotlight Africa. First on Spotlight Africa, Burundi President Evariste Ndayishimiye has condemned rumors of a coup against him while he was away for 2 weeks for meetings in Cuba and at the UN General Assembly in New York. In his address, Ndayishimiye blamed the rumors on people who have always wanted to paint a bad image of Burundi, noting that the country has experienced more than 10 successful and failed coups in the past years. Reports say barely a week after the president left the country on September 10, stories of a plot against him began circulating on social media. Away from that, Zambia's former president Edgar Lungu has been warned against his public jogging events, with police describing his workouts as political activism. The police in a statement said Lungu's exercise sessions, while escorted by members of his Patriotic Front (PF) party and without his security officers, amounted to unlawful assembly. The former head of state was ordered to notify police in advance when planning to jog in future to ensure public safety and traffic management. This comes a few days after Lungu took the government to court after he was allegedly blocked from traveling to South Korea for a conference. He later withdrew the case. Now, after being in power for 6 years, Lungu lost the 2021 presidential election to Hakainde Hichilema. He is widely believed to be planning a comeback in the 2026 elections. In another development, Zambia's President Hakainde Hichilema has sacked his information minister Chushi Cassandra in a mini cabinet reshuffle. Cassandra was replaced with Cornelius Mwitwa, the ruling United Party for National Development spokesperson and Southern Province minister. President Hichilema also named Ron Mwambwa as the country's Auditor General. A statement from the presidency said the changes reflected the president's ongoing efforts to enhance governance, improve service delivery, and promote national development in Zambia. Elsewhere, a senator who belongs to the ruling coalition in Kenya has proposed an extension of presidential term limits from the current 5 to 7 years, sparking sharp reactions in the country. Nandi Senator Samson Cheraje says President William Ruto, who has been in office for just about a year, might not have enough time to deliver his campaign manifesto. However, the proposal has sparked outrage among a section of Kenyans, with the opposition accusing the government of plotting to abolish presidential term limits. Last November, President Ruto dismissed a proposal by another UDA legislator to remove presidential term limits in the country. Meanwhile, Kenya's constitution sets a 2-term presidential limit, and any change would require a referendum. In a separate development, Kenya will begin constructing a nuclear power plant in 2027. The authorities have said in the latest pledge about the plans. The 1,000 megawatts plant, which has been in the pipeline for several years, as part of the country's ambition to move to clean energy and increase energy generation. According to reports, similar statements about the imminence of the start of the project have been made in the past. Now, the acting CEO of the nuclear power and Energy Agency Justice Wabuyabo told Kenya's Business Newsman that the agency is currently conducting site assessments and finalizing preparations to open bids for the plant's construction. Meanwhile, Wabuyabo said that the plant will be constructed in Kenya's coastal region over 6 to 10 years, with the first plant beginning operations in 2034 at the earliest. Away from that, now residents in Ethiopia's northern Tigray region are mourning the death of fighters killed during the 2-year-long brutal war that ended last year. It comes as residents are now being told about their family members who were killed during the fighting against Ethiopian troops and their allies. Sources from the regional capital had said. The reports say the war began in November 2020 after the federal government accused militias allied to the regional party, the Tigray People's Liberation Front, of attacking its northern command. In a separate development, the mayor of Derna, a Libyan city devastated by intense flooding, has been arrested in connection with the disaster. Abdul Manam Al-Gaithi was among numerous officials charged in connection with the disaster that killed thousands of eastern Libya earlier this month. It will be recalled that last week, angry Derna residents burned the mayor's house in protest. Some of the officials, including Al-Gaithi, have already been detained prior to the trial. In a statement, the Attorney General's office accused the officials of numerous failings, such as mismanaging funds meant to maintain the dams that burst and caused the floods in Derna. His office also said that the officials had shown neglect by failing to take precautions, leading to flood-related deaths and economic losses for Libya. Al-Gaithi has further been accused of abusing his authority. Now to Egypt, where election officials have said Egypt will hold a presidential vote on December 10 through 12 at the time the Arab world's most populous country is mired in a painful economic crisis. President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi, a former army chief in power for nearly a decade, has yet to formally announce his candidacy. But state-aligned media has already published messages of support from pro-government entities. Sisi, aged 68, was first elected in 2014, the year after he led the ouster of elected Islamist President Mohamed Morsi, and then won a 2018 vote in a landslide against one of his own supporters. Only 2 other candidates have so far declared their intention to run this time, including opposition politician Ahmed al-Tantawi, who has for months denounced harassment by security forces. The election had initially been expected in the spring of 2024, but experts have said it was moved forward to schedule it ahead of a possible switch to a flexible exchange rate that could exacerbate social tensions in the country of 105 million. Reports say hopefuls can apply from October, with the candidate list to be finalized by November 9, and that the campaign period runs until November 29. As well, the winner will be announced on December 18. Moving on now, Niger's military rulers have banned French aircrafts from entering the country's airspace. The air safety agency ASECNA said Niger's skies were open to all commercial flights except for those belonging to or chartered by France. Paris is a former colonial power and has around 1,500 troops in the country. Niger reopened its airspace earlier this month after closing it for nearly 4 weeks. The West African nation said it had shut it because of the threat of intervention from neighboring countries. It will be recalled that the regional bloc ECOWAS had threatened military action after July's military coup. Meanwhile, the 2 rounds of voting initially set for February 4 and 18, 2024 in Mali will be postponed, according to a government spokesperson, Abdoulaye Maiga, today. Maiga, in a statement, attributed the postponement to technical reasons, adding that those reasons include issues linked to the adoption this year of a new constitution and a review of the electoral lists. He also cited a dispute with the French company Idemia, which the junta says